howdy one and all. It's just a little video of documentation of my most recent Steampunk edition. These being a set of simplified goggles. Now I've got a much more complex pair, but there of course being the lenses. I'm not too sure if I'm going to use those because they're pretty dark. Those are welding goggles, but here's the eyepieces and all the other parts for everything. But obviously it's just a pair of welding goggles. You know, you can get them anywhere. Ace Hardware, Home Depot, etc. That's the actual goggle portion itself, as opposed to the rest. Using leather straps to tie the whole thing together, and of course, obviously, a buckle works out a whole lot better than anything else. But it's pretty simple, you know, all in all. Obviously, the goggles have, just those gear ports on there, which are just super glued, and a little screw towards the center. The nuts and bolts on either side. There's a brass panel on the rear of that. Now, the outer ring, or the lens ring, which is what you saw earlier, which is the ring that holds the lens in place. It's threaded. That's just got a brass portion, or a brass ring going all the way around the outer edge, and then just bolts for look. That's all it is. That's the whole thing right there put together. As you can see, the whole thing I painted with actually a true metal paint, at least everything that's not the brass, and then put a patina finish over it. Which the patina had an interesting effect. It did not only actual patina, but also had some rust tones on there too. But obviously that's everything put together. I'm going to put some additional stuff on there as well. Just maybe some additional leather or padding. This right here, this is an extra portion I'm going to be putting onto it. It's actually going to be a removable light, that's the light there itself. Well, removable light, just be able to transfer it back and forth between any set of goggles that I've made. So that's the housing for the light itself, and you'll see it pretty much mostly put together here shortly. But essentially, that's the lens. That's the actual lens. Hopefully, it'll at that point in time, refract the light a little bit better. But the housing for the battery compartment, that's the battery compartment itself. The whole thing, I'm going to be using that push button switch. It's going to be a whole lot easier than a toggle. And it's just a single double throw. But it's just a brass end cap cut off, a little bit shorter. The copper end cap, I'm sorry. The brass portion in the center part, that's actually just a part off of off of a garden hose, in point of fact. Just out a ring of garden hose, and then that center portion in there, that ring, it's just a cut out round section of copper. That right there, that nut, which has a drilled hollow portion, that I'm going to use for the push button itself. So that way I can just go click it on, click it off, whatever. And probably wind up shaving the top down, maybe putting a little typewriter key on the top of it, just for aesthetic purposes. But we'll see how that works out. Beyond that, everything else is pretty much set and ready to go for that project, and we'll be putting that stuff together hopefully pretty soon. That's the wire itself, which is going to go from the housing for the light for the LED all the way to the battery terminal, battery compartment itself. And the wire section, I actually just wrapped with just like a bronze, thin bronze wire, just also once again for aesthetic purposes. Now here's the piece it's pretty much nearly finished, as you can see. I did put a typewriter key on there, you know, and everything's pretty much put together. That right there, that's going to be the leather strap which go from in between those two screw terminals to hold the thing onto whatever I want to hold it onto. And there's the actual light unit itself. Put a little suction cup on the back end of it, so that way you can just suction cup it onto the front of the goggles. You know, put a little top on the little offshoot there, kind of look like a you know, steam exhaust port. And right here, as you can see, just push that, click, and there's the light. Now, because I used, and I like using these, the LED tea lights, simply for the flicker effect, it works out, you know, I personally think a whole lot better than just standard, hey, here's a light. Thank you very much for taking a look at this. I really appreciate it.